I'm making a game in Unreal Engine, and there's one marketplace asset I've been really wanting to try. Everyone talks about it, it shows up in countless projects, and it's often treated as a necessity rather than a design choice. That asset is ultra dynamic sky. I've reached a point now in my project where I feel like the environment needs a bit more personality. I kind of want to break from building systems from scratch and coding, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to try and test it out and see how it works. So in this video, I'm testing ultra dynamic sky in my project. What problems it genuinely solves, what it simplifies, what it complicates, and how usable it actually is in my project. So let's get going. Okay, so I'm here right now in an open world blank level. As you can see, there's nothing about, it's all just plain nothingness. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a quick material to the landscapes here, just to give it a bit of personality, and so I can actually judge this properly. I've got one here from the marketplace which I've edited slightly, pre-prepared. Nothing fancy, just some dark gravel. And here is my character from my actual game running about in the world, and everything's hunky-dory right now. So the way it works is that to get into your project, you first have to drag it in, the blueprints. So there are 2 blueprints here, but before I get on with that, I'm just going to delete all of that, and then I'm going to drag in ultra dynamic sky, and I'm also going to drag in ultra dynamic weather, which has been preset to something, which is currently rain, which looks really cool. But before I get on with that, I think the weather needs to be clear first. Let's go with clear skies. So this looks pretty much as it was when I first tested out the level. And before getting too crazy, I'm going to also populate this with a bit more of a world, just to give it a bit more something to sort of compare it with. So I've got some assets here as well from Megascans, and the idea here is that I'm not trying to create a level you'll be thankful to hear. It's more just to get an idea of what these assets, just to give the world some sort of context for what's going to be in there, because naturally you wouldn't have a big open flat plane in most places, so I feel like having rocks and those kind of things sort of scattered about will really help give it a bit more of a sense of identity, and overall that should help us evaluate and judge it a bit better. Drag this down slightly and... Hi, Future Alex here. Just to let you know, Ultra Dynamic Sky comes with 2 blueprints, Ultra Dynamic Sky and Ultra Dynamic Weather. They work in unison, but I'm going to begin by exploring the weather system and its presets, then move on to the sky itself. And now, back to our usual programming. In addition to that, we also have Ultra Dynamic Weather, which I talked about. And so we have clear sky, very cool. We have cloudy, which is also cool. I actually quite like this. Yeah, I find the bright sunlight a bit too harsh, and this is much more just more tame and more bearable sort of with the eye. We have foggy. Now this is very cool. I really like this. It's not too Silent Hill, but it's also got a slight bit of mystery, especially with the rocks. I imagine if you had like a well done level, it could look really cool. Although it is a bit very foggy at the moment, so maybe if it would tone down a slight bit, it could look a little bit better. Overcast starts off a bit dark, but that's the setting. And then, yeah, it looks like a very overcast Scotland, really. I do live in Scotland, so I'm not just hating there. I love the weather here, by the way. So this immediately feels right at home. We've got partly cloudy, which just more clouds. We have rain. Alright, the rain is instantly atmospheric and dramatic, and I love it. There seem to be storms in addition to the rain, but yeah, it's very cool. Rain, alright, rain light. That's a bit more like it, because the other one was much more stormy, and this is a bit more chilled, you know, just damp. Now, if I keep going, we have thunderstorm. Now, this could I'm going to turn down the volume here because I've... Alright, so this is... I'm seeing some sort of weird, glitchy place cards, sort of tile cards for the lightning off in the distance. Now, that could just be my world settings, because literally I've just created a brand new level, and I imagine that's the kind of thing that would be affecting it. I've not seen that before in any examples, so I wouldn't be judging that because of that. I imagine that would be fixable quite easily if I actually took the time to get the correct settings. But for now, just imagine perfect lightning. Okay, so that's a very fun looking effect. We have sand, dust, calm. Oh, I like this. It looks a bit apocalyptic almost, although very foreboding. Now, I won't be going with that for the game, but very cool. Oh, there's the sand dust storm. Alright, I love this. Now, I wasn't planning to use this just yet, but I did want there to be storms in my game, so I am very likely going to be wanting to implement this or something very similar to this, and I think it will be a good thing to sort of try and play around with. I feel like if I could change that colour somehow, is this the material dust colour? So if I, let's say I wanted it darker. No. Are there any more material colours here? I've not found any. Alright, so the dust particle thing I did is specifically for the actual little particles. It doesn't apply to the dust that's in the air. So I don't know where that would be controlled. Either way, carrying on. Then we have snow. That's giving a nice little light dusting. Once again, the particles seem to be squares, and I've not seen that before, so it could just be the fact I'm using an open world level here, which is why that's causing that. I need to look into the systems a bit more to determine if that's actually the thing, but it does look quite pretty. Now, I think there's another snow light, snow blizzard, which is a mixture of the storm and the snow. And we have snow light, which I imagine is like a lovely Christmas day. Yay! Alright, so in addition to that, we've got some other elements here. So we've got a raindrop spline. So I believe there's also a material function here you can put in, which will then apply the material to your other materials. So I've got snow falling here, and I believe there's a function you can just sort of clip and drag into your material, which will then apply a coating of snow whenever you want that to be preset. As we were talking about here, we have things such as a radial storm, which is, I think, a location-based storm. So if we just make this a bit smaller, if that can even work, because making it small, no, it can't. Radial storm. Oh, here we have the sizing. So if we make that 300 and then play a start, there we are. We have the storm just there. You run into this little square, suddenly storm, 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 thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening. And then suddenly you're out and it's calm. Storm, no storm. Storm, no storm. Either way, to sum up, there's quite a lot of different things here. I believe that there's temperature effects which can then be applied to your character. So if you want to have your character some sort of stamina, or maybe have them exposed to cold or hot, so if you're making a survival game, you can have those apply here. I don't know what any of these things do, and I think it would require a much longer video to go through everything one by one. Here are the weather presets that I was testing out initially. There's obviously sounds, tools. I don't know what tools do. Sky modifier stuff. So there's like a lot of good stuff here, especially if you know how to use it. So yeah. So in terms of my game, I don't need a majority of this stuff, especially not yet, because I'm still sort of early prototyping, and the purpose of me testing this was just to give it a bash, which I have done and I like. So I wanted a quick preset that's just going to give me a bit of attitude in my levels, or like prototype levels, just so I'm not using the default bland background. And as boring as it is, I was trying to go for a bit of an Icelandic overcast look, so I probably will just keep with this overcast in this kind of level. I feel like this is a very good setting for what I was imagining the world to be. Obviously I will want to add fog and have a lot more going on here, and sort of when I actually create it, but for now I just wanted to get a look down for my sort of prototyping. This will do. Okay, so getting back to the actual ultra dynamic sky as we have it here, let's have a look. So time of day, it seems like you've got a blueprint here which can, let me just increase this just so it's a bit clearer on the screen. So you have a way of setting it to dusk or another time period, which looks very cool, very pretty. I quite enjoy that. You can set it to the middle of the day, night, that's good. The volumetric clouds, you have static clouds, you have 2D dynamic cloud, ooh, sky atmosphere, simplified atmosphere, I'm not going to get into that. Volumetric aurora. Now I've heard quite a lot about this, but I've never actually tested that myself. Now, there we are. Hey, I like that. So yeah, this obviously looks quite pretty in the sky. Let's have a look at what other functions it's got. I'll bring it back to day and turn it back to, what's space? That's, I imagine it's just, oh dear, I don't know. Oh, so that's, well, oh, this looks like it's on the moon or something. I didn't realise that was an option. Very cool. Okay, so getting back to more of this, there's game versus real time. So there's a cinematic version, which I'm not going to mess around with because I'm doing game stuff. Cloud cover. Alright, so some of these settings it says not to adjust. Like that. Ooh. It was a cloudless sky I thought when I started, so this is looking much prettier. And now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm just rambling, yeah, that's true, I am just rambling. But this is me sort of exploring in real time to the camera. So if you want to watch, I hope you're enjoying. What else do we have? There is fog, which says it's a part of the weather. So I won't be playing around with that. Overall intensity, dawn time. Alright, so that's time of day. Dusk time, okay. Oh, so, alright. Lighting, brightness, time of day. Animate time of day. Day length, 30 minutes. So let's just have a go. So presumably I put in 1 other day, 0.1. Oh, you can actually see the day moving as the thing goes along. Oh, because night length was put as that. So if I try that again, that should be really quick and really short. Goes dark. It's dark for a bit. And then we come back to sunrise and amazing. So now to keep going further down, volumetric clouds, fidelity plus performance. There are different cloud settings here. There's lots of settings, which I'm not going and play around with right now, but you get the idea. You can change the color of the clouds. So I'm assuming if you had like cotton candy sky, or I think, well, I hate that word, cotton candy. If you had cotton wool sky or whatever, then you can do this. If you wanted some sort of fantastical magical pink world, you can do it like that. I won't be playing around with that. But you have volumetric ambience as well. Ooh, just to make things, give it a bit more of a tint. These probably have very sophisticated reasons of what they are and how they work. But yeah, I'm not that great at these. So enable fog inside clouds, that's a few other settings. All right, 2D dynamic clouds, we're not using 2D clouds. Static clouds, more clouds. Cloud movement, so let's go for a very quick cloud speed. Ooh, so you can have wind and all kinds of stuff. I think this is a bit quicker than it should be going full stop, but just to give you the idea of that. Animate volumetric clouds, here we are again. Cloud phase, cloud direction. Alright, so we'll get back. Alright, cloud widgets, cloud wisps for different textures and different wispinesses. Simulate real sun. Simulate real moon. I don't know what that means. Alright, let's keep going. Use system time, use sun. Manually position sun target. This is like using the control L thing that your normal sun uses, which is very fun if you're sort of creating the world. Different months, different times of the year, north yaw, sun, moon settings, which should be quite fun. Skylight. I don't know what any of these do either. There's a dust. Dust is also a part of the weather, so I won't. There's a very quick atmospheric effects, such as this, which obviously are very cool looking. Dust color. Just quickly play around with that. So once again, if you wanted sort of orangey haze, you can have that, or if you wanted something cold and blue, let's say the cyan shop has gone, the printer ink is blown up and there's cyan ink everywhere in the air, you've suddenly got this. Very fun. Sky atmosphere, this is just presumably more sunset sky settings, you get the idea. And simplify colors, stars. Space layer, nebula, sky glow. Alright, so there's quite a lot that I imagine that plays more at night. So there's quite a lot around here to play around with, and I'm not going to go through it. Ooh, everyone loves lens flare. Have I got lens flare? Not visible. Oh yeah, there is a bit. Yep, there we are in the middle. It's interesting that they've got water and underwater caustics and stuff, so I'd be very interested to try that at some point, and a few more for scalability and performance. So my thoughts on Ultra Dynamic Sky are that it's very realistic, very easy and quick to set up. There's a lot of settings that I don't know what they do yet, and they would need a lot of playing around, but I assume it gives you quite a lot of control for what you want. It seems also quite easy to use, so I know a lot of plugins require hooking up, and this is literally plug and play, which I imagine is very good to use. I really like the weather effects. I'm unsure why it's not working in the large open level, but sort of as well, but I'm sure it's to do with settings and being the dynamic world as well. So I recommend so far. I have not actually used it in one of a major finished project, but for now this seems like a really useful tool to sort of quickly add in the world that you're wanting and then to quickly amend and adjust it. I really like the fact that it's already worked out, not just in terms of like the visual look of how it works, but it also, you have functions that are built in with it. You have sort of environment presets as well, where you can make the character feel colder or exposed. So that kind of integration really helps making systems easier, because it's not just about the visuals, it's about the gameplay that goes along with those visuals, and I feel like there's quite a lot here that can make that, especially if you're going from much more of a weather dependent game, which I was not, but I might do. I don't know. We'll see how things go. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed me rambling on, and you enjoyed me looking at ultra dynamic sky. And if you're interested in the prototyping, I'm going for this probably now very commonplace Icelandic overcast look, and I shall be using this in my project going forward. So I'll probably have a bit more of a default level without the materials set up, just to sort of keep it a bit simpler for my tests. But thank you for watching, and if you're interested in my project, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.